Hi, and welcome to this session looking at the 1+2 Languages Highland resources and support. I'm going to start by working my way through the Highland SharePoint site for languages. So this is new. If you've not seen it before, it's hosted in the Schools Hub, which you can see the website address up here, Highland Council SharePoint School Hub. And to find your way to it, you go through the curriculum tile. Now, you need to be logged in to a Highland Council machine to access the SharePoint site, or your own machine, and then you might have the browser, Highland Council, for instance, in your browser. You do have to sign in with your Highland Council credentials. If you need more information about that, you can find that online, specifically on the Highland Council Digital Hub. If you go through curriculum, languages, and then you will see it. Now, this is the main resource for all languages, L2 and L3 in Highland, for primary predominantly at the moment, and soon hopefully secondary too. And it's really a resource for classroom learning and teaching resources. And then it has links out with this to training and engaging parents as well. So there's kind of a collection of a couple of different websites for you to look at, but they're all linked through here. So you'll see, first of all, we have all the flags. So you would click on the flag that you're interested in to see the resources, and I'll come back to that in a second. Down below, if you're interested in looking at CLPL, you'll see sites here for this. And if you want to engage parents, you would be looking here. Now, both of these have two sites each, the first of which is a Highland Council one, and the second one is in partnership with the Northern Alliance, which we're part of. So it means that Highland can access a huge amount of resources, and it's just amazing what there is, particularly for languages. None of these sites here need any logins, okay? So you can access these yourself. If you're interested on focusing on how to lead in languages in your school or ASG, maybe as a member of the senior management team, or as a principal teacher, or as a class teacher, then you could look here for documentation and also for different opportunities, such as training, for instance, or sharing information with colleagues. And here is how you can keep up to date with what's going on. We have our own languages blog, and you can follow this and sign up to get alerts into your email box directly each week. We have termly newsletters, which you can click on here to see the current and archived ones. You could follow us on Twitter and tag us. And also there's information from the newsletter and the blog goes into the Highland headlines, which is also accessible through the SharePoint site. So it'd be great if you can share that information with as many people as possible so that you can all keep up to date with things. I'll start by looking at the classroom resources, and I'll start with Gaelic. Now, for Gaelic, the resources actually sit within the Northern Alliance page, and this is a page which needs a Glow login. So if you click on L2 or 3, it will take you to the Northern Alliance SharePoint, and you put in your username and password for Glow. And once you're there, you'll see that there are planner sheets for L2 and L3, and you'll also see that there are resources for each topic, and these resources support the modules and topics in Go Gaelic. So they've been designed specifically for Go Gaelic, and you'll find that there are planner sheets with hyperlinks for different websites. You will see that there are resources to help teachers with their own Gaelic for these modules, and then there are resources for the learners as well. There's also links to Quizlets with all the key vocabulary. There's PowerPoints and videos focusing on grammar, pronunciation, and teaching tips and how to teach languages. It's incredibly comprehensive. This takes you to the page for Gaelic training, which shares different options for instance, courses that are running with Northern Alliance, and also online sessions that have been done previously in the last couple of years with different videos and PowerPoints. So there's tons of stuff available. The tracking and monitoring is the same for all L3 languages that we have, same sheets with I can statements focusing on language skills and then on core language. Obviously, learners don't have to do all of this. This is just topics that they could do. And this could be traffic lighted by the learners themselves to show what they know or what they can do and pass to the next teacher. Or it can be done by the teacher with the whole class to show what the class knows, particularly at younger level, or by the class teacher to show what they've actually covered. And you'll see there's links to different websites. I'm not going to go through all the resources in detail because otherwise I'll be here for a long time. So I'm just going to show you predominantly the key features. Now, the French resources support Power Language. Power Language is the main resource for French across Highland that we subscribe to. And every school has its own username and password. And if you don't know those, then you can have them reset and contact Roz at info@powerlanguage.net. And there is a progressive curriculum in there for P1 to 7 for French, Spanish and German as L2, with resources for every class. There's planners for each block. The year's divided into 4 blocks, and there's suggested activities, and there's all the resources you need. Key language PowerPoints with sound files and animations, videos, everything you need. And once you're into the Power Language website, if you click on how to, it tells you how to navigate your way around it. And it also has topic-based resources, and it has language tips, pronunciation and grammar, and teaching tips. So that's the first place to look at for Power Language, for all your planning and all your resources. The resources that we've created in Highland are to complement Power Language, and we're using the same topics that are covered each year in Power Language and just giving you extra materials and different ways really of doing things. The resources are being revamped, but each one, early, first and second, will take a similar approach. There will be an overview document with the different topics that are covered in each year. And then there will be links to resources within it. So for instance, early is ready and complete. So you can see here the 4 terms, the 4 blocks of Power Language, the key topics the Power Language covers. And if you click on it, it will open up a wee book. And in the book, there is all the core language that you need, plus ideas for cross-curricular resources, and also activities, daily routines, and different ideas linked to the core language. So they're fairly comprehensive. They could also be used to revise language, for instance, at the start of P2, just to remind learners, or be used at home as homework books for children to work through various sections of. Okay, taking a while to load. Here you go. So you can see they all take the same format. So language, activities, and website links. And there might be just specific activities you want to share with parents as well that you can copy. And there's lots more supporting resources for you to look at. As you can see, I make mention here of the E's and O's and the benchmarks and the progression language framework, and all the resources in here for all the languages have been cross-referenced with these resources. So they meet the CFE and the 1+2 guidelines. The language overview takes you to a document with the key language. Tracking and monitoring takes you to a folder with pupil and teacher monitoring documents, the ICANN bubbles documents that we've just seen, plus some Excel spreadsheets. And here we've got links to other resources that might be useful. Early, first and second take the same approach. So it's fairly straightforward. Okay. So Spanish and Polish and French as L3 all work in the same way. I'll quickly show you those. The resources that we've created for these languages as L3 was based on the 12-day old MLPS French training course, which was then translated into Spanish and Polish. So the course is divided into 12 étapes or stage or units, and in each day we covered quite a lot of different material. So we've linked to each of these étapes or stages through the topic folders. So you would then click on whatever it is that you're interested in. For instance, if you look at colours, it will then take you to the unit that was appropriate for that, the day of training. So it might seem a little confusing, and there's going to be quite a lot of resources in here because on that training day we didn't just cover colours, we covered a variety of things. But what we've done is tried to put the how-to document, so that's all the different activities that were covered on that training day so that you could then do them in your classroom with all the different resources. And we've also put the resources separately so you can just click on the resource that you want to download. And there's also the vocabulary document associated with it. Okay, so then if we click back and go back. So those are all the classroom learning and teaching resources. If you want to access training, the training is, sorry, before I go to training, the planner, this planner links to the topic. So all the topics that are covered here are also in this training, in this planner rather, and it's sort of organized by P5 in white, P6 in blue, and P7 for red, and yellow is what we would cover throughout. So this is the same for all the L3 languages. It just is to help with the sort of possible progression. The training, it will take you to our primary languages training site, and we are offered training for Spanish and Polish and Scots over the last couple of years. And so we've collected these resources together, put them into the website so that people can access them themselves. And where appropriate, we've tried to put in some sound files. And you can access all the resources that were covered in the training as well. Taking a while to load, so I will try and come back to that. The skills and the language, this was the same as we saw for Gaelic as L3, so it's the same documents. Okay. Scots is slightly different just because we didn't have a 12-day training course, so the resources are organised in a slightly different way, but with the same image icons for the different topics. So it all looks similar. German, we haven't run any training, so the German links to the Goethe Institute resources. And if you haven't seen those, they're fantastic. And all the resources you need are there. It's taking a while to load. So, but they've got two or three now books with all the activities and classroom language that you need. Mandarin, we haven't got any materials for Mandarin specifically, so it links to the Confucius KISS, the Confucius organization, for all the Mandarin resources. BSL, so we've uploaded all the resources for BSL that were created specifically for L3 here. You can also access this yourselves and buy a USB of all these resources and download them and get a pack from Sheila Lundberg at the Deaf Education Unit at Dingwall. But if you click on paperwork, that's all the sort of documentation to do with the pack. All the videos, little clips of BSL tutor signing are here, and then the different units within the pack are here. So if you click on them, it will take you to a folder, and in that folder you'll have lesson plans telling you what sort of activities you could do and linking back to the videos, and they're in those folders as well to make it easier. Okay, so that's all the languages. Just briefly, I'll talk you through these. The Highland CLPL site, what we've done is put all the training together from the last couple of years here for staff to access independently themselves. And there's online modules that staff can access, looking at both pedagogy and language upskilling. So you would click on here to access that. And then there's also links to the live training that's being offered this year, every other Thursday, that you can then sign up for on the Highland CPD website. So you can see you can develop your language, and it's got links to different courses that people can work their way through, such as the Gaelic one, or how I can teach languages. This is more generic. The examples are predominantly in French and Gaelic, but the ideas are generic to all languages. So you can see they're divided up into different units, and then generally the outline is an ebook with reflective questions. You've got the key messages and websites and Gaelic websites here. So this would link directly to those. So each one is slightly different. We've got teaching clips in where appropriate. Okay, and they also sometimes link across to the Northern Alliance site for resources that they have created from their trainings. Okay, if you're interested, the classroom learning and teaching resources links to the SharePoint site. If you're interested in working either with parents or with a school partner in Versailles, then we would click here. If you want a bit more support about what 1+2 is and all the key documentation, particularly useful for SMT or anyone leading languages, then you can click here. Okay, there's also resources for anybody who does want to lead languages for how you could run your own trainings in your ASG, for instance. The Northern Alliance site has links and resources from all their trainings that you can access, generally as PowerPoints or eBooks, and the resources that I've done are in there and also on our website. The Digital Hub, this was produced specifically for lockdown for parents over the last 2 years, and it gives a really good overview of the different topics that are covered in each year for languages and at each level, and it has everything that you would need to support parents. So parents can learn together by clicking on these icons, and there are video clips for them organised by topic. And there's also guidance, top tips for learning at home, overview of possible activities, different games that parents could play or could be started in school and then played at home, vocab lists, I can documents, or it's the same I can bubble documents, so parents can see what's going on, websites, and themed activity cards, which are topic-based. So it's the same for both languages. It's a really good place for class teachers who are new also to have a look and see and get an overview of our different courses. I would also recommend looking at the Power Language courses, which are for French and Spanish. These are family courses designed for parents to learn a language alongside their children to support them, and they are free. We've paid for a subscription for these courses, so there's no login details. You literally click and you go straight to it, and there are 6 modules. So please share these, and they could be used as L2 or L3. And this takes you to the Northern Alliance Family Learning site, which has tons more resources with early level, first and second level virtual classrooms, daily language activities, and things from other authorities. Again, no logins are required. Right, I think that gives you a fairly good overview. If you need any help and support this year, I am here, so please get in touch. Please share this video with colleagues in your school, and my email is thea.palu@highland.gov.uk. Merci et bonne chance. Au revoir.